Welcome back, everyone, to DeMoor Global Running. We are here with Steph Bruce of Flagstaff, Arizona, right?
Yep, Northern
Yeah.
Arizona Elite.
Yeah, okay. And that's where you live and train with your beautiful family?
Yep,
Yeah, and tell us about your family.
sure.
Yeah.
So I have two boys, Riley
Okay.
and Hudson, and they are 7 and 8.
Okay.
Hudson's actually here with me this weekend.
Oh, very fun.
And then my husband Ben, he's actually the official pacer of our team.
Okay.
So what that means is he essentially blocks the wind and he worries about the pace and workouts for all the women of NAZ Elite.
Nice.
And just recently, he's been able to jump in some of the guys' workouts, which I think is good for his fitness.
Very good.
He just entered the Masters World running, so that's been exciting for him. He just turned 40.
Very cool.
Whole new
That's
ball
exciting.
game. It's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's having a good time, and we just have a really good. We call ourselves Team Bruce.
Okay, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been with Hoka?
I've been with Hoka since, I would say, I call it since the beginning,
Yeah.
but essentially our group started in 2015.
Okay.
So I've been with them since the Clifton one.
That's it. Oh, the good old clip.
Yep.
The one we love.
Yep.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many, you have raced New York City, Chicago, all these big city marathons around the world. What has been like one of those defining moments, like one of your favorite moments from a big city marathon in your racing experience?
Ew, that's a tough one.
I know.
I would normally always say New York City. That just happens to be like my favorite marathon. I was born in Manhattan, so
Oh.
yep, New York has a special place. But I would say last year, Boston. Boston was like a really special race for me,
Okay.
and so that's probably going to go at the top of my list for now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have raced in the Hoka Rocket X2, correct?
Correct.
What race was that?
Um,
And how-
Yeah, so that was actually Boston.
Okay.
I was the first official pro athlete
Yeah.
to wear them, which was exciting and nerve-wracking
Yeah.
because, again,
No pressure.
no pressure. I was like, they're just the hopes and dreams of all of the Hoka athlete and shoe development
Yeah.
on my feet for this race. But it was really nice. Like, there was no pressure from Hoka. They were just like, you know what, we're ready. And I think I wore them 2 other times.
Okay.
So about 10 days before
Wow.
Boston Marathon. And I think that should be testament enough that I literally pulled them out of the box and I ran the Boston Marathon. I ran 2:28:02
Wow.
and was 12th place. So
Wow.
they kind of spoke for themselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What was I'm curious, the colorway,
Mm-hmm.
were they like all white or were they the actual color?
They weren't these.
Yeah.
They were a different color because they were the first shoe that was the World Athletics approved, like
Okay.
for athlete prototype. So they were kind of a yellow and blue, but something pretty cool that like I'll hang on to. And I don't know, maybe they'll be worth something one day. I have a Boston stamp on them because they had to approve the shoe. So
Yeah.
it says Boston and
Oh,
then a
that's
number
cool.
on each side of them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, in the development of the shoe, were you able to give some feedback to Hoka as to what you would like to see in this iteration of the Rocket lineup? Any feedback that you gave, like I like this part, or what was your feedback like for Hoka?
Sure, I would say I'm a fairly easy shoe wearer. I don't know if that's my stride. I'm
Yeah.
very low to the ground.
Okay.
People call me kind of a shuffler, like the
Okay.
marathon shuffler.
Okay.
And so really like I would call myself like an out of the box kind of gal. Like I'm usually pretty good with shoes, like starting with Clifton ones. I went through every single model, never had any issues.
Yeah.
And then same thing when we went all the way back to the Tracer and then the Rocket X. We wore that for the Olympic trials.
Yes.
Right out of the box. A few weeks later, raced that, had kind of one of the best marathons of my career.
Wow.
So I really think the feedback was just, let's get in line with the shoe race of the foam and carbon plate, and let's make sure we're just as competitive as all the other companies.
Yeah.
And they nailed it.
And they nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah. And now that you've been running in the shoe for quite a while now,
Mm-hmm.
what's one of like something that you, whether it's the lockdown or the bounce of the midsole, like what jumps out at you, like one of your favorite features?
I mean, I think it's honestly like the energy return. And for someone who's late in my career, I'm 39.
Yeah.
I truly believe it has rejuvenated my career
Wow.
because I'm able to run times and workouts and races that I didn't run in my 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, last year alone, I PR'd almost in all the distances. I ran 31:49 in the 10K on the road
Wow.
here in New York.
Awesome.
You know, so there were just all these things that was like, that used to be an incredible track time for me.
Sure.
And now I'm running that in Central Park at the New York Mini 10K.
And Central Park is a hilly,
It's correct.
It's, not
It's no
a flat
joke.
course.
Exactly.
Wow.
So yeah, I would just say like the energy return is one, and then people don't talk about this as much, but the recovery, meaning you'll do a thrashing session where your legs normally would be toast.
Yeah.
The next day, you're recovered.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge component of like what this shoe is going to do and change for the industry.
Wow. Wow. And is there a example of a workout that maybe you've done in Flagstaff where you wore the shoe and you crushed the workout? Or
Yeah, so we do something, this is like a true marathon workout. It's called 4-10-4,
Okay.
where we do 4 miles at marathon pace or effort at altitude.
Yeah.
Then we do kind of 10 miles steady.
Okay.
And then every 3 miles, we do a push. And that push is more like at marathon pace.
Okay.
And then now after 14 miles, you have to come back and then do another 4 miles at marathon pace.
Wow.
So you're getting 18 total miles of volume.
Okay.
So for me, that would be something like at altitude, I'm running 5:40 pace for the 4 mile.
Okay.
Then the 10 mile, I'm running like 6:20 pace.
Okay.
But then every 3rd mile, a surge mile. So I'm running 5:20 to 5:30 pace.
Okay.
And then those last 4 is like whatever you have.
Yeah.
And on a good day, I'm now running back in the 5:30s.
Wow.
Yeah. And normally like that workout, I'm taking till like it's Tuesday. I am not recovered till Saturday. In these shoes now, I'm recovered by Thursday. No problem. Yeah,
That's exciting.
it is very exciting.
Very exciting
Yeah.
for you as you progress into 2023. And
Absolutely.
speaking of which, what is next on your calendar? What are your hopes for the rest of this year?
Sure. So, last year was pretty unique for me. We kind of thought it was the year I was going to retire. I just had a lot that happened to me personally in 2021. I lost my mom to cancer, and I found out I had a congenital heart condition. And I don't know if midlife
Wow.
crisis is the right word, but
Wow.
I just was hit with a lot of like life. And I sort of stepped back and I said, is this like the path I want to keep going on? Should I keep running? Am I getting better?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, maybe it's time to retire. But then, of course, as the year went on, I started to run really well. And I realized, you know what, maybe I wasn't doing well because of grief of losing my mom. Maybe I'm not on the downswing.
Yeah.
So essentially, I made the decision to not retire. So I think what it did for this year, it allowed me to just take a breather. Because last year I put a race on my calendar every 5 weeks, and we were just like go, go, go. And so this year was like, let me go back to just base training, look at 2024 as the Olympic year, and then plan backwards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been nice to like not have quite a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more that foundation building.
Correct. And
And the Rocket X2 is part of that journey.
it is a big part of that journey.
Very exciting.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Steph,
Thank
for
you.
taking the time and sharing about the shoes and your family and everything. So
Thanks so much.
thank
Happy to be
you.
here.
Yeah, awesome.